Hey everybody, Kazungu here and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video, and today I'm going to be making a guide on how to beat the new dungeon, Grasp of Avarice, released with the 30th anniversary pack. Over the next day, I'll also have a Gallarhorn review and a guide for the master mode of this dungeon, as well as a breakdown of each of the new weapons and perks added in the 30th anniversary update. Before we begin though, if you do like this guide or find it helpful, a like and subscribe are greatly appreciated and they help my channel out a lot, and if you feel like it, make sure to check me out over on my Twitch channel where I streamed all of the background gameplay used in this guide. I'll link it down below, and now that that is out of the way, let's get on to the video. So when you first launch the dungeon, you'll spawn at Skywatch, and you want to make your way over to the cave. You'll have continuously spawning hive enemies, and these enemies will drop what look like exotic engrams when killed. Picking up these engrams will give you the main buff of this dungeon, which is called Burdened with Riches. You'll have a 30-second timer, and by picking up another engram, you can add a stack and refresh this timer. If this timer runs out, you will die and lose any stacks that you were carrying. However, you can safely get rid of this debuff by standing next to the white crystal in the loot cave. Eventually, giving enough stacks to this crystal will cause it to break the floor and letting you move up into the dungeon. Eventually, you'll reach a section that looks like a dam in the Cosmodrome, and you'll have two doors on the right. Make sure you avoid the square pressure plates on the floors, since they will trigger spike traps that can instantly kill you. Hit the switch in the room behind the left door that has the skull and crossbones sign, and this will open the big pipe. Jump across, but do not hit the switch on the first panel. Turn back around after getting to the switch on the first panel and jump under the platform in the middle of the room. Hit this and go back to where the two doors were and go up. Go into the right side with the tube near the far wall and go through it. Do step on the pressure plate in this tube since it will open the sewer grate to get you to the next area. And keep moving up and eventually you'll reach a big open area that looks like a reservoir. Here, there will be 4 doors, each with hive and a switch inside. Going to the door labeled 1 and flipping the switch will spawn hive across the room, and then each time you go, kill the hive, go in, and flip the switch. Repeat until the last door opens, which will have fallen instead of hive. Kill the Scorch Cannon Vandal and grab the Scorch Cannon. Go to the last closed door and shoot the fallen generator with the Scorch Cannon. For this mechanic, you need to hold down the fire button after firing the Scorch Cannon to charge up the blast long enough, and if you do so, the door will stay open when the Scorch Cannon finally explodes, and you can then move forward. Watch out for the falling cylinder trap, and keep going up until you reach a big room, jump on the stack of boxes to go into the vent, and eventually, you will reach an open area with an ogre fighting some fallen. Once you jump across the gap, get ready to fight the ogre. For this encounter, you'll need to kill the Scorch Vandal again, and one of the two sides flanking the ogre will have a open fallen generator above it, and the other will have a closed one. Shoot the open one with the Scorch Cannon, making sure that you hold down the explosion button again to open these doors and spawn the hive that will have the engrams. Grab all the engrams you can and go back to the crystal near the gap that you came in from to deposit. Then go to the other side of the room and repeat. If you get all the engrams to the crystal successfully, you can go straight to DPS with only 2 rotations. Sometimes the ogre takes a second or 2 to actually be weak to damage, so just be patient so you could go set up for another set of engrams after, and if you think you didn't get it, just go open another door and grab more engrams. We dropped a well on the crystal for DPS here, but you can also move to another spot if you'd like. It doesn't really matter where you stand. We just liked the crystal because it was right there. The best DPS weapons we had were the recently buffed Sleeper Simulant, and actually having all 3 fire team members use Sleeper with particle deconstruction, we were able to consistently one-phase this boss. Shoot the boss until it dies or goes immune, and if it goes immune, just rinse and repeat. Once it's dead, go to the back wall and move up, and once you reach the big room with 2 switches, hit the left switch and get on your Sparrow. During the Sparrow Run section, you need to move fast and dismantle mines. You can basically instantly dismantle these mines, so if you just drive through them, you can pretty much always dismantle them. The other thing about this section is that there are buttons, similar to the ones from the old Scourge of the Past Sparrow Run, that will extend the mine timers. The last thing that you need to know is if you are in front of your other teammates on the Sparrow Run, you need to make sure that you take the lower launcher at the end, since it will get you to the mine sooner, and the button that the top launcher will get you to won't make the difference if you're there alone. At the end, just keep moving deeper into the caves, and once you reach the big open area, you've arrived at the Fallen Shield encounter. This one features both the engram mechanic and the Scorch mechanic again. Try and see if you can see a shielded servitor from the spawn, and if you can, rotate the cannon in that general direction and hit the generator with the Scorch Cannon from the Vandal while standing under the cannon. If you can't, pick a direction to see if you can launch and get a better look at where the servitor may be. You'll be able to rotate these cannons to launch yourself to a different platform in a few different directions. Once you find the servitor, go there and start killing the adds and depositing the engrams they drop at the crystals. Once the crystal is finished, kill the servitor and push the dead servitor core to the cannon. Line it up with the nodes on the sphere in the middle and launch the core at it. It will destroy the node and hit for 25% of the shield's total health. A new servitor will then spawn somewhere else, and you should just repeat this process until the shield drops, and then go to the middle and launch up into the sphere once the shield is down. Go up through this sphere until you reach the final area. In the final area, you can start this encounter by just running into the middle. You'll spawn Avarok, the captain, and his 2 crewmates, a stealth vandal and a sniper shank. I recommend killing the sniper shank since it can snipe you for a lot of damage and it tends to float high in the air. But you can also kill the stealth vandal if you want, and you'll be able to drop 10 engrams from him if you do, although they're not necessarily needed. Once again, you will have to use a Scorch cannon to shoot a generator, and this time, the 2 generators alternate opening on the sides of the big ring over the middle area where the boss is. These engrams will drop out of the walls on the right and left side, as well as the low ground near where you entered the room. We placed 1 player at each of the engram drops to make sure that we got all 30 of them, and we took them to the middle and dropped them in, and then we made another set of engrams and just kept doing this until the boss teleports away and starts DPS. Once again for DPS here, we ran Sleeper for a potential 1 phase, and we did DPS on the top of the crystal in the middle. If you don't kill the boss here, just repeat it until he dies, get your loot, and congratulations on finishing the Grasp of Avarice Dungeon. If you have it, you'll be rewarded with the last parts of the Gallarhorn quest. 2 things that I want to add before finishing this video are that if you're watching this during launch week for the dungeon, you can only loot it once this reset, unfortunately. DMG was on Twitter earlier confirming that this is in fact a bug and should be fixed by next week's reset, so if you're watching this after the December 14th, 2021 reset, you don't need to worry about this. The other thing that I'd like to mention is that there is in fact a master mode of this dungeon already available, and I will have a companion to this video out within a day or so for anybody interested in doing the master mode. It will serve more as loadout advice, as specific strats that may not be needed in the normal difficulty version of the dungeon. Things like, where to set up for DPS, for cover, so that you don't get killed by ads and things like that. Stay on the lookout for that if you're interested in doing master mode, and I will also have a Gallarhorn video up sometime within the next day going over things like its potential damage for anybody interested. However, that's all I have for this guide, so if you liked what you saw or found it helpful at all, remember that a like and subscribe go a long way to help out my channel, and feel free to go and check out my Twitch channel again, where I'll be streaming a lot more of the 30th anniversary content over the next few weeks. As always, this has been Kazungu, and have a great day. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Later, everybody.